What's up, my bakers? You're with Le Bon Baker. I'm Nicole, and today we're going to be making delicious focaccia. Mamma mia! Focaccia is a really beautiful, delicious and easy bread recipe. It doesn't take too long to make and it's perfect. On its own, you can have it with some beautiful olive oil and some balsamic, or you can have it as a side as well, or you can top it with your favorite ingredients. I'm going to take you through the ingredients that you'll need in just a minute, but before that, I've just lined a little baking tray here with some parchment paper. I just find it a lot easier to lift out the bread at the end. It's going to give that really nice, clean, easy lift out of the pan. For the ingredients, we've got some all-purpose flour here, some lukewarm water, some olive oil, some dried yeast, honey, salt, and I'm going to use some aromatic herbs, and I've got there some sage and oregano. Here we've got the ingredients for the brine, which is some water and some salt, and we'll use this later. For the full ingredients and quantities, make sure you head to thebonbaker.com. The first thing that we need to do is we're going to get our yeast and add this into our lukewarm water, and same for the honey, and we'll let that dissolve. Now, if you don't have honey, it's okay. You can either use sugar or malt extract as well. I'm just going to give this a little stir, make sure all of the honey is dissolved, and then I'll just put it off to the side to wait. Next up, we add our salt to our flour mixture. Give that a little stir, make sure it's evenly spread throughout, and then we can add our yeast mixture and our olive oil. So in goes the yeast mixture, and then the oil. Now we need to stir it all together, and this will start to form a dough-like texture. I'm going to knead it in the bowl very quickly before I turn it out onto a floured surface. It's quite sticky, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit more flour. So it's quite smelly. It's just the smell of the yeast and the oil, but it's going to be delicious. Onto the bench she goes. It's plenty. And we're just going to knead this dough until it's nice and smooth. And it's at this point that we can add whatever flavors or herbs, spices, anything that you want to flavor this focaccia with. So once this is nice and smooth, I'm going to chop up my sage and oregano nice and small and start to combine it into my dough. Choppity, chop, chop, chop. So I'm going to put some in the actual dough, and then I'm going to leave some for the top as well. So don't use all of your herbs for the center of the dough because we want it to brighten up the top. The aromas from these fresh herbs is so beautiful. So I've got the sage and oregano here, but a more traditional style focaccia would be rosemary and thyme, or you could use one with olive paste as well. Any of those sort of flavors are just going to be bomb. I've split my herbs in half, so I'm just going to knead this in now. Can't wait. It's going to be so good. I already love the smell of it. Focaccia is one of those things, I think it's quite underrated, but it's a delicious bread. So I think we're good, guys. All the herbs are in and it's super smooth. So I'm gonna place it in a bowl now. We're gonna coat the bowl in some oil and we're gonna leave our dough there for at least 30 minutes or until it doubles in size. Now I'm going to move the dough around in the oil just so it coats everything and so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. And that looks good. So you can either put a damp cloth over the top or some cling wrap for it to sit and double. Done. Now we wait. Ooh, puppies. I just want to take a moment to appreciate Jerry. He's absolutely thriving. Jerry is my succulent. So you may have seen him in previous videos. He wasn't looking so great. And then I chopped him in half and left him outside. And now he's absolutely thriving. He's even created his own little flower here, which I can't believe. And I've just literally not touched him for a few months. Jerry, Jerry. All right, our dough looks humongous. So we're going to add it to our baking tray. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on it first and then we'll roll it out. I'm just going to make sure that's evenly coated as well. So time to get your hands dirty again. Yeah. Now we're going to press down the dough and stretch it out so that it covers the whole tray. Stretchy, stretchy, looks good. Okay, so keep pressing it out to the sides. It feels really cool. It's nice and squishy in texture, kind of like Play-Doh. So my dough keeps reverting back in, it keeps shrinking back in. You're gonna have a little fight with it for a while. Keep pressing it out to the sides. And what you can do is also just leave it, push it out, leave it for a little while, come back to it, push it out again until it sets, until it stays in its place. But this is looking pretty good. Next, I'm going to gently dimple my focaccia and we're going to do it all over the dough. And then what we're going to do is add the brine ingredients to the top and then we're going to let it sit there for 20 minutes. And we need to let it sit because if you put it straight in the oven, the dough won't keep its dimples, so that's why we need to let it set for 20 minutes. With your middle 3 fingers, just gently press down on the focaccia and create little holes or dimples. And by doing this, this is how you get that beautiful classic focaccia effect. Next thing that we have to do is add our brine ingredients together. So I'm going to pour the water into the salt here and give it a little mix. Right, now I've got my salty water here. I'm just going to gently pour it all over the focaccia top. Give it a little shake. Looks good. Now we leave it for 20 minutes. While we're waiting for our focaccia, we're going to turn on the oven to 200 degrees Celsius or just under 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Before it goes into the oven, I'm going to sprinkle on my beautiful herbs here, give it one last little kiss of olive oil, and then into the oven it goes. Let's bake into the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. I can smell it and it's ready, so I'm gonna go get it. Yay! Wow. Oh yeah. That is a good focaccia. Beautiful and brown. So we want the focaccia to be nice and crispy on the top and then fluffy in the middle. So I think we've done well. We're going to give it a little drizzle once more with olive oil and then we'll take it off and just let it rest and then it's ready to eat. This is why I absolutely love baking. You get to create something, you get to see the end result and how amazing it looks and good it tastes. You get to eat it and share it with your friends and family. And I just want to share that same joy and love of baking with all of you so that you can have the same experience that I do from baking. All right, I'm just going to move this onto the breadboard and take it out of the tray. So move it quickly over here. Be careful if the tray's still really hot. And grab the parchment paper evenly, and we're just gonna go up. Voila, so easy. And now all you have to do is wiggle it off. And this is so nice. Traditional focaccia isn't too tall. It's actually quite thin, just like this. I reckon it's time to eat. Oh yeah, nailed it. When bread is life. Did well on that one. So we've got crispy on top, fluffy in the middle. We've got some beautiful salt that has hit the top of it and made that really nice crust, and the herbs here are beautiful and delicate. They don't overtake the bread, they just complement it. Thank you so much for baking with me today. Make sure you get in the kitchen, get involved. This recipe is so delicious, so tasty, and very easy to make. So why wouldn't you? Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Le Bon Baker, for all tips, tricks, and recipes for the home baker and cook.